For my family, gotta build a legacy. I'ma be the man when I'm dead. Work too hard, I can't slip up, so I'm clutching tight on this lead.
It's time, everybody. It's time. We are officially back, and we are here on MLB The Show 23. It has been a minute. Once again, apologies for a leave of absence. I couldn't take Madden any much longer when I was playing that. Ended up, once again, striking out on the last two MLB The Show. Well, not last two, but last couple of MLB The Show series. We ended up deep into the playoffs and just kind of got burned out. But hoping that is not going to be the case this year. I know I'm extremely late at the start of this. When the game dropped, I was on vacation. And when I got back from vacation, I kind of got a little sick from it. And then just kind of got busy with other stuff. But we are finally here. We're finally back on the grind. We are here, and we're doing the Los Angeles Angels franchise. You guys saw title, thumbnail, everything. And I'm excited to get into this. At first, was gonna go with the Chicago White Sox. But the White Sox last year, I'm a White Sox fan in general, if you guys don't know. And last year really pissed me off a lot. That 500 season, very, very well underperformed, and ended up just, honestly, it really kind of pissed me off for even the start of this upcoming season. Even now, they're still acting like a 500 ball club, so nothing really changing. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the White Sox. We're here to talk about the Los Angeles Angels. We're starting a new franchise. Let's get into this. They're ranked 8th overall-wise, mainly because of the two top players on the team. We know Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. They're both 99 overalls. Contact is 11th, 5th in power. They do have a lot of power on the team. Pitching is 11th. I don't know if that includes bullpen or not. I'm guessing it does, and that's kind of surprising to see that it is that high. 10th, they are in defense, and 24th in speed, so not a lot of speed. Interesting enough, I'm recording this here on Easter Sunday. This is going up on the Monday, and interesting to see that the Trash Pandas on Saturday, April 8th, they did something extremely embarrassing, and they ended up pitching their team pitched a no-hitter. And somehow they ended up losing that game to the Chattanooga Lookouts. Now, it is possible. There's been teams that have won, even though despite being no hit. The biggest issue was the Trash Pandas were up 5-0 and lost that game 7-5. It's really unheard of. I've seen the little breakdown of how it happened, and it's just how? It's still how do you give up 7 runs without giving up one hit? Just a bunch of walks, an error, and then they had a wild pitch that allows for runs through. It was pretty crazy. But anyway, without further ado, you guys, let's hop into this. Oh, another thing to look at: team budget. We have one of the highest team budgets on the game too. So it's not many more teams that have a higher one. The Dodgers do, the Yankees do. So some of the top teams, but we should be able to spend here though with the Angels. Let's go. All right, so spring training is over with. There's things we want to go ahead and get to. So basically, I want to go ahead and speak on how pretty much the series is going to go. We're going to do it basically how I was doing our Toronto Blue Jays franchise last year. Difference, we're going to do a slight variation of it though. It's going to be each video is going to be a new starter going, but we're probably not going to do get these guys 5 games in 1 month. Probably going to, mix it up. We're going to sim a little bit more because honestly, I would actually probably like to do more than one season this go around. And hopefully, it's not going to be really a rebuild. I don't know. Angels, they could very well be facing a rebuild here soon, depending on what happens with Shohei. But we're going to be trying to make some moves, to see, what we can get to fit. And hopefully, like I said, get more than one season out of this. Hopefully, get a few. Hopefully, able to keep this series going for a good little while. But, yeah, so Angels right now, they got some holes here. They got some pieces that are really nice to see. We'll go ahead and take a look at everything, take a look at this roster. So one of the few things to actually talk about with the Angels ended up firing Joe Madden in the middle of the last season, sometime during the summer. I believe June, July is when he ended up getting fired. And who took over for him was Phil Nevin, and he was eventually hired as the full-time manager in October. Nevin did play in the majors for 20 years, or about 21 years, somewhere around there, from 95 to 2006. Ended up having 208 career home runs and batted 270 for his career, so wasn't too bad for a player. Problem is, we're more worried about what he is as a manager, and when he took over the Angels, he didn't do the best. It was 46-60, so Angels have been an underperforming franchise for a while, especially since Trout has gotten there, and they haven't been to the postseason since 2014. So even despite having Trout all these years, they just have not really been able to build around him. And hopefully, with Shohei being there, you would think, okay, maybe now, Shohei actually turned out to be this great player. Of course, it was always going to be, okay, will Shohei become this pitcher batter? And he actually has turned out to be that. He's lived up to the hype, but they're still struggling to build around these two. I mean, Trout has been arguably the best player in baseball for the last decade or so. And Shohei is now, like, taking over that reign. I mean, dude is a great pitcher. He's a great batter. Like, it's ridiculous what he's doing out here. And they still have nothing to show for it. They can't even get to the playoffs. Now, I know Trout has been, deals with injuries, a lot of times throughout the season. But even then, he still puts up numbers like he never even missed time. Like, once again, he's off to another great start this year. I mean, he homered last night against the Blue Jays. So, yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. They just have not been able to build around him. Plus, they're in LA too. So, they got the Dodgers out there. Most people probably going to, go to the Dodgers before they go to the Angels. However, they just have yet to figure it out. Farm system is also kind of a mess too. But they only got 10 playoff appearances. So, and most of that run was done between 2002 to 2014, where they saw 7 playoff appearances. So, it has not been a great Ram franchise since they got here. But before we actually, get into our team, let's talk about what's going on in our division. So, the division isn't easy at all. Like, we'll start from the bottom with this. By far, the A's are the worst team in the division. They're extremely young, and anytime they look like they're going to have a good season, for whatever reason, they end up trading off their good pieces. Like, I don't understand what their ownership does. He just does not want any. He wants nothing to do with having to pay players like any sort of premium. Like, I don't get it. But we know the A's are potentially going to be moving out of Oakland at some point. They're still sitting there playing in the Raiders' old stadium. But the rumor is they're probably going to Vegas, which, ironically enough, the Raiders also moved to Vegas. I know there's been talks, maybe Charlotte or Nashville could end up with them, but it sounds like whenever MLB does decide to expand, those are going to probably be the 2 cities that get expansion teams. So I think they're not really maybe in that running for them. But yeah, A's, not really sure what they got going on, man. It is a crazy franchise over there. Next, let's talk about the Texas Rangers. They added arguably the best pitcher in baseball, probably like the past. I don't really know how long DeGrom's just been that dominant pitcher for, last few years though, but this past offseason they ended up getting DeGrom from the New York Mets. And DeGrom, age 34, 99 overall. Dude's a beast. Marcus Simeon's also on the roster. They picked up Corey Seager a couple years ago, gave him a big contract. And the Rangers, they got a lot of big names on the roster, so it's going to be interesting to see if they can get things to gel well. And, they definitely want to win. They just built that new stadium that just opened up in, 2020. So, we'll see, if they can put things together. But hopefully, on our sake, that ain't the case. Now, let's talk about the Seattle Mariners. This team right here, they're young and rising. Like, this team, it looks like it's going to be a fun team to watch, over these next few years. Like, they're coming off a very, very impressive season. They ended up with 90 wins last year. They won a playoff series over the Toronto Blue Jays in the wild card round. They were unfortunately swept by the Houston Astros, but they put up a fight. I mean, they led every single game but that last one, where they went 18 innings and lost 1-0. So it's not like, they got swept by the Astros, but it's not like they didn't compete. Like, they were actually in every single game, and they just couldn't outscore them. But yeah, and then not only that, you guys remember Teoscar Hernandez from our Blue Jays series? Yeah, they ended up adding him in the offseason. So yeah, this team is definitely going to be one to be looking at. Can't wait to see how they fare off in real life. I think that division is going to be very, very interesting to see and how everything is going. And of course, we have to talk about the big bad of the division, and that is the Houston Astros. They've been the pinnacle of the division for probably about a decade, almost a decade now, and they don't look to be slowing down anytime soon either. Like, that's the worst part about it. Like, coming off of another World Series win, and also probably, if they're not the most hated team in the league right now, they're definitely one of them, the top 3, I would imagine. And they're not going to be an easy team to face off against. I mean, you got Jordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, Kyle Tucker. That doesn't include their impressive pitching staff with Valdez and Lance McCullers. Like, I mean, it's they're good, and they're gonna still be good for a good little while too. Like, they got a lot of young talent. They've done amazing with their farm system. They've had players come in that have left, Carlos Correa being one of them. I mean, it's like, and among others. He's the first name I can think of top of my head, George Springer. And they don't care. They are just pumping these guys in and out left and right. And it's kind of like how the Dodgers are a little bit, where Astros have had a little bit more success as they brought in 2 World Series. But it's going to be an easy team to play against, and those are the games should be interesting. A lot of star power, when we face off versus them. So definitely going to be interesting to see how those games go. But without further ado, we're here for the Los Angeles Angels, and we will take a look here at our roster here and take a look, see what we got all going on. So we'll go in order. We'll start with the pitching staff here, and as we all know, Shohei Ohtani, 99 overall, best pitcher on the team by far, and it's not even close. Did end up bringing over Tyler Anderson in free agency after his All-Star season. Had a very good year for the Dodgers, so hopefully, it'll be a good, 1-2 punch with Shohei. Definitely would love to see that. Then we got a couple of young pitchers here on the staff, 26, 23, and a 25-year-old. Patrick Sandoval is the first one up here, 78 overall. Definitely love to see what he can do coming off of a very good season. Actually, all 3 of these guys are showing a lot of promise, so hopefully we got some good young pitchers coming up. Especially, they're going to need it. Hey, Tyler Anderson is not getting any younger. He's on the wrong side of 30. And Shohei Ohtani, I mean, the guy might be leaving, like, in real life for the Angels. So they need these young guys to become pretty dang good and pretty quickly. Because if Ohtani bounces, they are going to be in a lot of trouble. Because the rumors are it's expected to probably start at minimum $500 million contract for Shohei. Like, it is gonna be a ridiculous bill to pay. I don't know really what the talks are for him to stay in Los Angeles. Well, let me not say to stay with the Angels, because I'm sure the Dodgers could be gearing up to go after him as well. I think there's a lot of reports that he could end up just switching uniforms and staying in LA. But yeah, they're gonna need these young pitchers to step up and be extremely good for them. The bullpen, on the other hand, it needs to be built up. There's no doubt about it. Like, there's not much here that just screams, oh, this is going to be successful. They're older, and the younger guys they got don't really have much promise. You guys can see by the potential. It's just like, overall-wise, it's nothing great. Closer, I mean, yeah, we really don't even have much of a closer here. Like, deep potential. I don't know who Carlos Estevez is. Like, he might be somebody that's really good. I don't know. Well, maybe not really good, but he might be somebody that's serviceable. I don't really know, but yeah, bullpen-wise, it's probably going to be our main focus of this team right now. Get into catchers now. Max Stassi, I'm not sure if that's his last name. No, he's been around for a minute. Yeah, he's right now, I guess, is the starter. However, Logan O'Hoppe is probably the guy that's looking. It probably is taking over. I believe Stassi is on. I believe he's injured in real life. I believe he's on the IL from what I saw. So Logan O'Hoppe is probably going to be the guy we end up playing more anyway, just because he's a younger guy. He's 23 years old. He's a top prospect too. He's got big potential. So hopefully he can give us some good stuff. But yeah, he's actually the #1 prospect in their system. So yeah, that tells you a lot about how their thing is going. The #1 prospect is already up in the majors, and he's the 50th ranked prospect. Like, he's a top 50, he's a top 100 guy. He's 50th ranked prospect in MLB. And at 23, we're hoping he can develop well for us, but it's going to have to hopefully happen quickly. If not, we'll have to find a replacement. But for baseball, it can take a while for these guys to get going too. I don't know how the development really works on this game too well, because normally I'm one season in and I'm out, so we'll have to wait and see. But Brandon Drury, another power hitter that this team does have. He's coming off a solid year, had 28 home runs last year. Also batted pretty well. You guys can see he's got a 90 power versus left-handed batter, so that's going to be somebody, hopefully can crank them out versus those lefties. But this team, they were, I believe, 5th in power, so definitely have a lot of guys here that can, give us a good bat. Jared Walsh also back him up. Second base, Luis Rengifo. I have no clue. I know I'm butchering his last name like crazy, but no, Angels probably have high hopes for him. He's coming off his career year. He had career highs across the board. He was a Silver Slugger finalist and a Gold Glove finalist last offseason. And the Angels are probably hoping that he's starting to really figure it out. He's been up here for a few years now, and he's struggled quite a bit. He's actually off to a rough start here this year, real life. He's batting below 200, and it just hadn't really been the best. One thing that he does have positive going for him is that he is getting on base. He's getting on base at a 35% clip, so doing pretty well. He's drawn 6 walks here early on in these first few games, so we'll see if he can solidify that second base spot. I mean, guys can see he's got a lot of power, so I mean, that's one thing we love to see. Well, versus those lefties, but and the batters we'll probably see more. We'll see, but it sounds like he's also a good defenseman. I mean, if you end up in the Gold Glove finalist, you're doing something right last year. He's only 26 years old, so he's got some time to still, hopefully, flush things out. But we'll see if everything can get going well for him. Now, third base. This is where it gets interesting. The Angels brought in Anthony Rendon from the Nationals in 2020, and he has not lived up at all to that 7-year, $275 million or $245 million contract he was given. And it's mainly been because he's been played with injuries like the entire time. And when he got there, it was the COVID year, and they had that shortened season. First 12 games of a 60-game season, he didn't even record a hit. Like, it was really bad. Now, he ended up finishing that season out pretty decently. Wasn't too bad. But from then, he just got riddled with injuries. He had a groin issue in 2021. He had knee issues, had a hip issue that ended up shutting him down for the rest of the 2021 season. 2022, he met a similar issue, straight up injuries. And he basically had season-ending wrist surgery in June. He ended up playing like the final 3 games of the year just to, I guess, get back, into playing a little bit. So, 384 possible games he could have played in. Rendon has only played in 157 of those. And that's barely over 40% of those games. So, it has not been the best contract for the Angels with Rendon. And to start the 2023 campaign, Rendon ends up getting suspended for 4 games for an altercation with a fan after the game.
Yeah, you called me a bitch, huh? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, motherfucker. Calm down.
So yeah, Rendon, it's just not went well for him. I mean, you guys saw the clip there. He may have been in the right, but these organizations aren't going to take kindly to when these players get into it with fans. It's always something. They always end up taking the fan side of things, but for the most part. But to continue with this position, in the offseason, the Angels also traded for infielder Gio Urshela. It was kind of a surprising trade, I think, for a lot of people because he really doesn't have a spot. He's primarily a third baseman. He's not like a guy that kind of really bounces around over the entire infield. So it's like, okay, well, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We'll have to wait and see. His best year is 2019 when he was with the Yankees. He's a guy that really bats for average. He's not really a guy that's going to, swing for a bunch of power. He's not going to hit a bunch of home runs. 2019 was his best year. He hit 21 home runs, but he's not like a guy you're going to expect to hit 20 to 30 home runs a year. Besides that, his highest home run total was 14 in 2021. I believe maybe 3 times. I think he's also dealt with some injury issues as well, but I think 3 times he's hit over 10 home runs in a season, so he doesn't, not like he even hits double digits crazy like that. Next, probably our weakest link on the infield is our shortstop, and right now it is David Fletcher. Looks like Andrew Velasquez is also up here as well. Not really sure what we're gonna do here at shortstop. David Fletcher's a good fielder, but he might be more of a bench guy. He might be more of a rotational piece, him and Velasquez. We'll have to see. We might move Urshela over there. I think they're using Urshela at shortstop in real life. So that might be we might take that approach to it. Not too positive. We get to the outfielders. We'll start here with Taylor Ward. He's man's left field. He's coming off of a career year. And he's another guy that's off to a really, really hot start here to start the 2023 campaign. And hopefully he's able to build off of what he did in 2022 because he did extremely well. And unfortunately, they don't put the stats up here. So we'll take a look, see what it shows. But yeah, 2022, 23 home runs, 65 RBIs, and drew 60 walks. And batted 281. So like I said, he had a career year across the board. On base percentage was 360. Don't like seeing he has no hot zones. They're all blue up there, but hopefully, ends up turning that around. But 29 years old, he can play quite a bit of positions as well. If we need him to come into the infield, he can also do that. Play anywhere in the outfield for us too, so very versatile. Love to see that out of Taylor Ward. Center field, we don't need to talk about Mike Trout. We all know about Mike Trout. He's been the GOAT for a good while, and yeah, like I said, it's not much to talk about him. Just look at his stuff across the board. He's literally the complete opposite of Taylor Ward. Just red everywhere, when Taylor Ward just had blue everywhere. And then right field, they also added Hunter Renfroe in the offseason. Ended up trading for him. So unlike Ursula, Hunter Renfroe is actually one of those guys that's going to give you like 25 plus home runs a year. Like, I mean, he's extremely great power hitter. Coming over from, where was Renfroe last year? I believe, yeah, the Brewers. He was with the Brewers, spent most of his time with the Padres organization, and then has bounced around a little bit over the years. But yeah, 29 home runs, 8 home runs in the shortened season. So he had a really rough year that year too, batting 156. Good grief. Yeah, coming over, pretty good season once again. 29 home runs. That's nothing to scoff about. Like, we got power everywhere. He's likely gonna, when Shohei is not pitching, when Shohei is pitching, he's likely gonna be the guy out there. Even when he's not pitching, we'll see how we manage these lineups with that. I'm not exactly sure how it's gonna go. Haven't messed with the two-way player really at all, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes with Shohei. Now, when it comes to the top prospects in this organization, most of them are already like on the roster, so it's not really, like I mentioned earlier, the farm system is not deep really like at all. So it's just kind of like, man, I kind of hate to see that it's not, some guys that, that are, like we're really interested in on possibly coming up. They have 2 prospects that are ranked in the top 100. We already talked about one of them, Logan O'Hope. He's the catcher on the team. And then let's have a shortstop in Zach Nato, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name. So right now he's in Class A. In real life he's in Double A. So we're going to move him up to Double A. Go ahead and do that now. And yeah, 'cause I don't even know why we even had that issue, but yeah, it don't really matter. We'll figure the Double A situation out at some point, but it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, he's the next guy. He could be a shortstop that potentially comes up. We'll have to wait and see as we get further into it. We have also a couple of pitchers on the staff that are potentially that could be on the way. Now these 2 pitchers are actually projected to make their debut at some point in real life this year. So I guess depending how they do, we have Chase Silseth, I believe that's his name, 22-year-old, 6'6" overall. Potential's only a C though, so I don't know if he'll be anybody that we really get into. Kai Bush is their 5th ranked prospect. Silseth is their 4th. I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but yeah, Kai Bush is their 5th ranked prospect. He's got a beat potential, 65 overall, 23 years old, so he is a little older than him, but he does have better potential, and I guess we'll have to end up seeing how these 2 guys go. But yeah, like as I mentioned, the farm system for the Angels is extremely weak, and honestly it's not much really to be excited about coming down that pipeline. I mean, that's something we hope we can possibly build up potentially, or we could just say forget it and just keep kind of things are going and just end up just they got the budget for it, so and just keep on building the team, free agency and trades and stuff like that, which definitely a possibility. Like I said, they have one of the top budgets in the league. Yeah, what is it, 200 plus million or something like that. We do got a lot of money tied up in Trout for the next good few years, but yeah, Shohei is the one though to try and bring back though for the next season. Hopefully that can happen. But yeah, we'll see how we want to build this team out. There's definitely going to be some trades made because we're going to have to at some point. We'll see how we play out probably for the first month or two. See, we might not have any trades right away, but as we start playing a little bit more, we'll see, okay, where are we weak, where are we struggling at, and where we need to make these improvements at. But yeah, pretty much that's really all I have to do for in this video, guys. We'll have gameplay video, opening day, next video out. Didn't want to have this one being too long. Didn't want this to be like an hour, 45-minute long video, because sometimes these little opening videos can sometimes take a little while as we're going through and letting you guys know how we're doing things here. But we are back, everybody. Once again, we're gonna pretty much be doing this a little similar to last year. I don't know, man. Like I said, probably 2-3 games a month. Not gonna include March. We'll just count that with like April or whatnot. But yeah, definitely excited to get into this. Want to see how we fare versus these teams. Now, we do have a lot of interesting games actually here early on. We have Seattle we got in this month. We have the Yankees here, so there's some interesting games. We're gonna play our opening day as well versus the Toronto Blue Jays. So yeah, got some interesting games here in this first month that we're definitely looking forward to getting into. But that is gonna do it for me, you guys. I appreciate you guys for coming back, sticking with me. We are going to be doing some more stuff possibly with MLB The Show. I do plan on hopefully, getting some live streams going. I might do a live stream with Diamond Dynasty, try and actually figure that out. I know I've mentioned that a few times before, but in the past. But yeah, I definitely want to, take a look into that. And might maybe even Road to the Show. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to do that one or not. Normally play Road to the Show offline, but, it might be a day I feel like playing my baby, but not you know, doing anything serious. I might do a Road to the Show live stream. We'll see how that ends up going. But once again, you guys, that is gonna do it for me here in this one. Thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you guys hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if you are excited for this Los Angeles Angels franchise here on MLB The Show 23. Let me know if there's anything, you know, I missed that you guys might like to see more that I don't, you know. No, I'm still trying to figure everything out here with MLB. It's kind of it's a trick one because it's such a long season, but you know, plan on getting things going well and hopefully off to a hot start here with the Angels. But like I said, once again, thank you all for watching. I'm out to next time, everybody. Make sure you guys subscribe, like, comment down below. I'm out to next time, everybody. Y'all stay safe out there. God bless and peace. Close it out, Future.
And it's the love from my fans got me still here.